Hi, in this video I will show you how you can generate navigation meshes for Ironbane. Generating navigation meshes is a fairly manual process, so it is semi-automatic. It consists out of 3 steps. First, we need to generate detail meshes. A detail mesh is simply the world mesh which contains all the objects which are placed on top of it. So it's like everything merged into one mesh. After that, we use Blender to generate a navigation mesh out of this detail mesh, because Blender has built-in mechanics for this. It uses the recast navigation library, so we can take advantage of this. And then once Blender has done that, we save the OBJ, which Blender outputs, and we save it in our skybox folder under a different name, so like .nav.obj. And then the third step is to convert this .nav.obj into our own format for which the Ironbane NPCs can navigate around the world. So let's get started. First, you need to navigate to the Ironbane assets folder. No, not the Ironbane assets folder, just the Ironbane root folder. Where did I put that? There we go. Okay. Always make sure that you're on the latest master. So yeah, these are some shortcuts. It means pull rebase from master. Always make sure you're on the latest. There we go. And of course the same for your assets. Always make sure you're on the latest before you do anything. So we're up to date, that's great. So the first step, we have to generate the detail meshes. So we're going to do that with 2 scripts. So in the total process we will use 2 scripts. So we can use generate detail meshes and generate nav nodes. So detail meshes is for the first step and nav nodes is for the third step. So first we will use generate detail meshes. You can know that it's a bash file because I'm working on a Mac, but this should also work fine on Windows. The reason this is into a bash file is because Node needs a special parameter to have additional memory when it executes the generation commands. So you can see that it adjusts the stack size, otherwise it will run into call stack size exceeded errors. So you need to do this, otherwise it won't work. So I also did this for the navigation nodes, just in case. There. Okay, so let's start with the detail meshes. There we go. You can see sometimes it complains that some meshes don't exist. So this means that there are some objects which are placed in a world, but which don't have, for which it cannot find an entry in a database. So it just ignores those. Almost done. Okay. As you can see here, it says all my models are up to date because I already ran this command right before I make this video. But for you, if you have made significant changes or it's been a while, then you will most likely see here that some models have been updated. So now you can see that they generated a lot of meshes which end with full.obj. So we can open those in Blender. So we can just import obj. For example, so this one is the world zone. I'm not going to open this one because it is particularly heavy, so I'm going to select the tutorial zone to give a better example, otherwise it will take too long. So I'm going to open it. There we go. So as you can see, this is the full generated detail mesh. I can show you from the inside. So as you can see, it contains all the objects which are placed. For example, here are all the tutorial crates. So now we can generate a nav mesh. To do this, it is important that you switch here to Blender game mode first of all. Then you can go to the third tab, which is, I don't know what's it called, scene. And in the scene tab, you will see navigation mesh. Select the actual mesh first, and then it is important that you change, well, it's not super important, but it's better to generate better meshes, to change the height to 1 or maybe even 0.5 and the radius to 0.3. There we go. Once that's done, you can simply press build navigation mesh. There we go. And now if we switch back to solid and we delete the original mesh, you can see that it's generated a navigation mesh for us. So this will help enormously for our NPCs. So now the only step remaining is to save the mesh. We just go to File, Export, and save it as an OBJ. Then go to the Skybox folder and save it over. So in this case, this will be 3.nav.obj. I always use a preset for exporting. The only difference really is triangulate faces on. So if I select this, you can see in the material groups, but that doesn't matter so much for navigation meshes. So I would just always have this on. It's not super important, I think, but just in case, use triangulate faces and save it as a preset, and then just override it. 3.nav.obj. There we go, that's it. So now you don't have to do file new, you can just delete this one and just select another mesh you want to generate, for example 4.4, and just go over the same steps again. Build navigation mesh. So go faster now, because it will save the settings which you used before. Delete the old mesh, and then simply export it again. 4.nav.obj. There we go. That's it. So you need to do this for all the zones. Once that is completed, we are fairly we made progress. So at this point, I would really advise you to commit, just in case you screw something up or you overwrite some the files which you made with Blender. So in my case, there is apparently a change, which is weird because I just generated these. Anyway, the only thing you just need to commit those changes. So commit, that's all. I need to stage them first. Now they're staged, and then just commit all, and then message changed, or better, new generated Blender nav meshes. It's maybe a bit confusing to, I mean, Blender generates nav meshes for us, and we will use these nav meshes to create like nav nodes, so like JSON data structures, which our game will use. The next step right now is to run the generator that will convert the nav meshes into the JSON data structures. So this one is, first go back to the root folder and then run the scripts for the nav nodes. So this will first convert the nav objs into the JS format, and then it will start calculating neighbors, which takes a long time, especially for the world zone, but it will go fairly fast for the other zones. So I'm not going to let this go because it takes quite a long time. So you should think like, I think in total it will take like 15 minutes, 30 minutes tops. So I'm going to cancel this one. Close. So that's that. And now the only thing remaining is to, let's see, to the assets folder, and now just commit again. This time stage them, and also new generated nav nodes. There we go. And that's that. Now you can go back to the root folder and you can run grunt again. So now it will copy over the actually generated nav nodes, and they will be ready for use in the game. So now your NPCs are ready to use your newly generated navigation meshes. There we go, that's that. Thanks for watching.